Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We have Niagara University with us here today. So we'll be taking a virtual college tour with that team and seeing what the campus is like and what they have to offer. They are a private partner college in partnership with Say Yes Buffalo. So they offer 3 scholarships to our eligible Buffalo Public School students. So right now I'm going to pass it over to Stephanie, and she's going to take us on a trip through Niagara University. Welcome, Stephanie.
Excellent. Thank you so much and welcome. Thank you everyone for being here. My name is Stephanie Buchukowski. I'm one of the senior associate directors in the admissions office. I have a great team with me today who's going to kind of go over a lot of different points I think are important for you to know right now. And of course, I have a Q&A at the end and go over some questions anyone might have as well. So now I'd like to pass it on to my colleague Emily, who will introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Olsack. I am an admissions advisor with Niagara University. I work closely with Buffalo Public Schools. Some of them that I work closely with would be IPrep, Performing Arts, South Park, McKinley, the new Buffalo School of Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management, formerly known as Emerson. One of my favorite things about Niagara would have to be the school spirit. The purple is real, the purple pride. One of my favorite things on campus is seeing everybody rocking the Niagara University. You go to visit a lot of campuses and people are wearing sweatshirts from other schools, not at Niagara. We bleed the purple and it is true. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm going to pass it to my friend and colleague, Morgan.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Morgan Miller. I'm one of the admissions advisors here at Niagara University. I'm also a 2-time Niagara alum. I graduated with my undergraduate degree 2 years ago, and then I did a 4+1 and graduated with my MBA last year. Some of the Buffalo Public Schools that I work with a lot, but just some to name a few would be Leonardo da Vinci, City Honors, Frederick Law Olmsted, Hutchinson Central High School, Health Sciences, and CSTAT. I love working with all of those schools, and I also love working at NU. One of my favorite things about Niagara University is the family that you feel when you're on and off the campus. Even though we haven't been on campus, I still talk to my colleagues and students every day, and you still feel like you're a part of one family, which is something that's awesome. If you're a student there, you feel it even more so because you're with so many people who genuinely care about you and about your studies as well. Now I'm going to pass it on to a current student, Trevor, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about himself.
I'm going to unmute myself. There we go. Okay. Hi, I'm so sorry for that. Welcome. Thank you guys for hopping on. My name is Trevor Howell. I am a soon-to-be sophomore sport management and luxury hospitality operations double major. For me, choosing NU was honestly probably the best decision I've ever made. Honestly, right from the beginning, not even being a student, the staff and the students on campus really treated me like family without even being there. And now that I am there, I can firsthand definitely say that it really is a family. And they promised me all these opportunities, and they have definitely not let me loose there. This summer, I will be working an internship with the Buffalo Bills for training camp, depending on how everything goes there. And then I'll also be doing a lot of different things with Trans Valley Country Club, a local country club here, which will be a really cool opportunity for me to kind of get these new experiences and internships. So NU really does give those opportunities. It really gives that family feel, and there's nothing less I could ask for than what NU gives me.
Excellent. Thanks, Trevor, so much. And thanks, everybody. Now we're just going to show a brief video a little bit about campus. It's very impressive, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So just take a look, and we'll be back when it's over.
Listen. Closer. Can you hear it? This is the sound of 160 years of Vincentian tradition, lived in the voices of 4,200 students, and echoed in the hearts of 36,000 alumni. It drives us forward, fuels us, inspires us, leads us to this defining moment at the Ridge, a ridge where we challenge ourselves to look beyond. And like eagles, we soar. Where lessons of the past inform our vision for the future. We learn, we give, we create and celebrate. We are world ready with bold heart and nimble mind. We think across borders and cover the globe in our purple pride. Through learning, faith, and service, we see with deeper vision, achieve with greater purpose, and ignite positive change in the lives of others in our community and around the world. We are the promise of tomorrow. The power of Niagara University.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Now I'd like to turn it over to Morgan, who's going to give kind of a general overview of our whole admission process. So Morgan, if you want to go ahead.
Thank you, Stephanie. So if you are thinking about coming to Niagara, we are on what's called a rolling admission. This means that you don't have a specific deadline of when you need to apply. Some other schools have some deadlines that you need to get your application in by. For us, our two biggest deadlines are for our nursing and biology students, which would be May 1st. This was what we were on this last year. Things could change, but that's where we're going as of right now. Otherwise, you can apply whenever you would like. We always suggest that students apply sooner the better, just so then we can sort of work through your scholarships, get your financial aid packages together, and get them sent out to you. So once you apply, you will be assigned to an admissions advisor, somebody like myself, Emily, or Stephanie, or somebody else in our office, and you will work directly with us. We will make sure that you have all pieces of your application, and then we review them individually. We really do sit down, we read through every single application. We take a lot of time and effort to really get to know you as the student, so we can make sure that not only Niagara is a good fit for you, but that you'd be a great fit for us as well. Once we go through your application, then we will go on to awarding you a merit scholarship. So merit scholarships are based off of your GPA and your SAT or ACT test scores. As of the past few years, we are a test optional school. So that means that you don't need to submit your SAT or ACT scores in order to be accepted into your program. We do, however, obtain our highest merit scholarship the past 2 years. You do need to submit your scores. Also, if you're in nursing and biology, you need to submit your scores just because those two areas are a little bit more competitive. But if you're not a great test taker, you don't need to submit. So that's something that is really great for us too. Once we get your guys' merit scholarships to you and you complete and file for your FAFSA, then that's when we get your financial aid packages put together and sent out. And then there, everything is really broken down based on the tuition, if you're going to be a resident or if you're going to be a commuter, with your merit scholarship, and then any aid that you qualify for. And then once you decide if you want to become a Purple Eagle, you can make your deposit. Like I said before, we don't have any deadlines, but mostly we do get our deposits on May 1st, National Decision Day. And then you go through the whole summer orientation process and then start school in the fall. Did I miss anything, Emily or Stephanie, that you can think of?
I was going to say, Morgan, if you wouldn't mind talking about the scholarship ranges for the merit scholarship amounts.
Yep. So we have different tiered scholarships that, based on where you fall with your GPA and your SAT scores, you will be awarded those. So we're currently on a 5-tier scholarship plan. The first being the highest, which is our trustee scholarship, which is $23,000, which covers almost up to half of the tuition. Then it goes to our presidential, which is $20,000, our Dean Scholarship, which is $16,000, our Niagara University Award, which is $14,000, and then our NU grant, which is $10,000. So something that is really positive that you can take from that is you will receive a merit scholarship of some sort. Obviously, the higher your grades are, the higher scholarship you'll get. But like we said, we do look at you as a we look at everything in a holistic view. So we do look at things other than just your scores too.
Thank you. And then I'm going to turn over to Emily if you want to talk about kind of a little more in depth about the NUOP process for us.
Absolutely. So our program is NUOP. It stands for Niagara University Opportunity Program. I'm sure you guys have probably heard very similar programs at other schools like HEOP and EOP. It's very similar. We have a great office over there with my dear friends, Kara, Jarell, and Tia. They work very closely with their students. So the NUOP process, to piggyback off of what Morgan was talking about, when you apply through the Common Application or our Niagara University free application, you mark that you want to be interested in NUOP. NUOP is a two-step process. It's a two-part process. You need to qualify both academically and financially. So I always tell students when you apply, please make sure that your financial aid and TAP are also submitted. That's probably even more important, so rather than just your application. So once that is all submitted and we make sure that you qualify academically and financially. So when I say academically, it means your grades are a little bit lower than our standards of what we accept into our into the programs, into the university. So everything is just a little bit lower. So for example, you could have maybe like an 800 SAT, an 80 GPA, very similar to that range. But that doesn't dismiss it if you are above that or below that. That is just a general range, like an average that we look for the NUOP program. Financially, it depends on, there is a ranking financially of if you qualify or not. So that is, again, why financial aid and the TAP are very important process. So once that is submitted, we review your application and then we send it over to my friends in the NUOP office. There they take into consideration, they read your essay, they read your letters of recommendation. If they are intrigued and are interested, they will reach out to you and ask to come for an interview. I always tell students to please self-advocate for yourself. If you really want into a program, they are willing and wanting to hear from you just as much as you want to hear from them. So make yourself known, whether you apply here at Niagara, whether you are applying at University of Buffalo or Buffalo State. Please make the NUOP and HEOP offices know that you are really interested in attending and being into their programs. They really like to see that. So just after the whole process, they'll ask you for an interview. Generally in the past, the NUOP office has asked for kind of like an essay, kind of like, supporting why you really want to attend college and what college will do for you. And then they usually ask for about 2 letters of recommendation as well. So it's a personal statement when I say that with the letter. So it's a personal statement on top of 2 letters of recommendation after the letters of recommendation. So then students will be notified. It's a long process. So students want to generally be notified in a couple weeks, and it takes longer than that. So students are still being notified actually up to this day. Generally, we try to get it in before the May 1st deadline. With the NUOP program, it's rolling admissions as well. So students are accepted into the program later on than May 1st. And the big part of the NUOP program, which I think is outstanding, I wish all students could go through it, they do have a summer program. So you are on campus for 4 weeks during the summer before your classes start that semester, which is great. You automatically create friendships and bonds. You get to familiarize yourself with the campus. You get to familiarize yourself with where do I go for classes. You get your schedule intact. So the NUOP program is a great highlight. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or anybody, Kara, Jarell, and Tia Robinson, all in the office of NUOP. So thank you for joining us today. I hope that was helpful.
Great, Emily. Thank you so much. Great information, guys. So now I just want to talk a little bit. It was mentioned earlier how Niagara does offer 3 of the Say Yes scholarships. So I just want to kind of reiterate that. There is a known additional process. Like once a student is notified that you are a Say Yes recipient, you do have to kind of go through some other kind of paperwork and things like that you'll be sent via email if you were to be selected for that. So certainly just watch for great detail if it does happen to be the case for you, making sure you get everything in properly to the financial aid. Our financial aid office, I honestly, and my colleagues, I think can agree, are wonderful in terms of working with. 100% of our students receive financial aid. Every student on campus receives something. That merit scholarship money that you receive is strictly based on you and what you've done. Okay, so that is strictly the average and your SAT or ACT if you're going to submit that. That has nothing to do with financial aid. So when you do the FAFSA, if you are familiar with what that is, it stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And what it is a form that determines anything else that you might be eligible for. So that will be available to you and your family October 1st. And submitting that as soon as you can is certainly your best option. We want to get back to you as soon as we can as well. Generally, our first batch of financial aid packages go out, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's right around like Christmas break, right before and a little bit right after. And then usually it's about every 10 days after that as we're receiving them. So just like the admission process is rolling, where we don't really have a deadline for the application, which we don't, deposits really is kind of rolling now too. Like it's, after June 1, and we're still accepting deposits for the fall class right now. So we're kind of rolling everything. So just keep that in mind. It's very easy and flowing. We're constantly processing everything as we get it. So it's nice to know they don't have to have anything kind of looming over your head with that. So then with that FAFSA then, like I said, it's determining once you get the results of that. So basically the FAFSA, I believe you have up to 10 schools that you can put on the form of where you like your financial results sent to. And then once everything's processed by the state, you will then get a financial aid package from every school that you've been accepted to. Okay, so it won't go to you unless you've actually been accepted to the college. So even if you started applying somewhere, but maybe never finished the application, that's another little side note, being like rising seniors and that. If you're not interested in a school anymore, just for whatever reason, once you've started applying, just even do yourself a favor by letting them know that you're not attending, because sometimes, we don't want to keep nagging you, if you're not interested. So I always like to tell students, so if the time has come and you made the decision to attend elsewhere, certainly let the schools know, even if it's in the midst of the application process. It just makes things a lot easier for everybody, and we're not, kind of hounding you. We hope you'll never cancel with us, but with other schools, that's all that matters. So after that, with the timeline, with the FAFSA and everything, you get all the results. And then some things that are very important to know with the financial aid form, you will get a package from every school, like I said, that you've been accepted to. You have a chance to have shop around and look around and see, what's the best fit for you in terms of economically, financially, all that kind of stuff. It's important to know if you say you qualify for something like work study, okay? Work study is something that does depend on what else you might qualify for in terms of different things on your form. But that is definitely one of the first things to run out in terms of when they're allotting money out to students. So if you are seriously considering Niagara in the fall, as you're at this time next year, and you are awarded work study, you absolutely want to at least accept your financial aid package. And this honestly goes for anywhere you might be looking, okay? Because what that does then, it locks in that work study money for you, then you're guaranteed that you won't lose it. And then at that point, that's basically like work studies, getting some jobs on campus that are working towards your tuition. So those are some of the great things that the FAFSA form will determine for you that you might qualify for. So looking out for all those things. And then between all of us here, and honestly, our website is very user-friendly too. If you're looking around and have some questions about certain things, don't hesitate to reach out to financial aid or us. And then after that, you kind of be all set with moving along the process. But with that being said, so now we do have a second video that we'd like to show. This is Cheyenne, who spoke at our open house just this past fall, and did an amazing job. And I just want to kind of share her story. So if you wanted to go ahead and show the video for Cheyenne, please.
They'll play this when I run for president in 2032. I graduated from Niagara University in 2019. I studied international studies and political science. I am so excited and so filled with confidence that I'm leaving Niagara University to go to Georgetown Law School. That was my first choice law school, and honestly, there was never any insecurity about me getting in because my professors really helped me build this confidence within myself that I could do it. When I initially came in as a shy freshman, I didn't really want to get involved, but the sense of community on campus, it really pushes you and engages you. And that really helped me build as a more confident student and individual.
Excellent. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. Another video. So that's just a small example, I think, of some of the experiences that students have on campus. And, you know, Trevor, since you're still here, if you don't mind me picking on you for a moment, just to kind of go on, if you don't mind talking a little bit about how, just like how the academics work with admission and with Niagara when you're with us, between getting immediately accepted like into your major and different things like that.
Yeah, so when I applied for Niagara University, I originally came in just wishing to pursue a sport management career. So that was kind of the path I wanted to go down to in hospitality. As soon as I applied, they accepted me right into the program. And after my first semester, I noticed I had a really big passion for luxury hospitality operations. So from that, I mentioned that to my advisor, and she automatically found out a way, since they're both in the College of Hospitality, to fill up free electives and fit everything in. Well, I only have to take 2 extra classes to pursue a double major. So to me, I think that's a really cool experience, and it's kind of something that's very unique to Niagara, and it's a very unique kind of style that those advisors are working directly with you. And it's made it very easy for me to find what I love to do. And then once I find what it is that I love, they really kind of push you in the direction that you know you're supposed to be. And they make it almost seamlessly easy to be able to complete these things that seem like they'd be these difficult, hard things to do, but it's automatic acceptance right into what you want to be in. And then once you find it, they even push you farther.
Great, thanks, Trevor, so much. Another program too, I just want to touch on a little bit that I think is helpful for students to know, because you know you have some time in terms of deciding. But our academic exploration program has been award-winning, and it's great for students who are unsure about what they want to do. So basically, you enter into the program like undecided, undeclared, but you are given an academic advisor who's basically like a kind of like a college level guidance counselor, right? Who guides you on a monthly basis. They constantly are doing like different testing with you, software programming, kind of finding out your strengths, what you like and what you don't like. You actually have until the end of your sophomore year to make a decision on a major. That's a long time to kind of, you know, just kind of test the waters and see, you know, different things. If you decide on something sooner, I mean, that's great. Like after your freshman year, say you take criminal justice class or biology, whatever, and you decide, oh my God, this is exactly what I want to do. You can absolutely go ahead and change your major right into that and you're all set. But you have up until that time if you need it, and they still guarantee you they'll graduate in 4 years. Average college student changes majors 4 times over the 4 years. So if you're just a little bit unsure, I would say is probably the way to go. But if you have a hard set on something, that's great too, because even so, when you do get accepted to Niagara, you are directly accepted into your program. So you will start taking those classes immediately as a freshman. So you'll know right away, as you know, as soon as you get in there, which is great. So it's very helpful. I don't like to throw a lot of stats around. I think they kind of get lost in translation, but I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we have one of the highest 4-year graduation rates in all of Western New York, because you do enter right into everything right away, and you have that ability and that connection with professors right away too, to kind of guide you through the transition and everything like that. So it's great. But other than that, I just want to thank everyone for being here. And this is, I think, a great overview. I do want to kind of give a plug to our open house coming up. We obviously, given the times, we're doing quite a few things virtually, given the setting we're in right now. I will say this, that I think is a huge upside to students that are experiencing this right now. You are seeing and meeting students and faculty and staff more than any other student that has ever even visited campus. You would have to visit campus every day to have come across and interact with the amount of people that you have during this. So you have a huge edge on any other student, I think, that has ever attended college before. You will walk onto campus knowing who people are already, knowing names, departments, students, all of that. So definitely embrace that. Is a huge plus for you right now, and take advantage. So I think that's a great thing to point out. We will have an open house this month. We'll have a virtual open house every month throughout the summer. So definitely like keep tabs on our website and take a look at things like that. We are looking to open in the fall. So we certainly will be having events back on campus, of course. So, coming to visit is going to be one of the best things you can do for sure, because campus certainly is beautiful. But ladies, I don't know if there's anything else. I know we have a Q&A coming up now. So, but can you guys think of anything else you might want to add before we go to the question and answer?
Oh, I think we really covered everything. I want to agree with Stephanie that you guys are literally meeting so many people through these virtual events that I wish that I was able to meet them all before I started school. Because even like an example with Trevor, he's a current student, he'll be a sophomore. It's a friendly face that you can always go to and that you've been able to meet and talk with him too. So I think it's great.
Okay. I think that wraps up our end of things here in terms of format. So I don't know if we want to go ahead I'm not sure if we have any questions.
Yes, we do. We have some questions from our audience. And thank you, Team Niagara University. That was a lot of good information, some real perks that you guys do offer. So I'm happy that our students have the opportunity to have access to those. So we have someone that wants to know a little bit more about your teachers, the diversity, the qualifications, and your class sizes.
I can touch on, if you guys can kind of just chime in as you would like, but class sizes, we're overall a small university, okay? We have about 3,300 students total. So it's like a happy medium, I think. It's not too big, not too small. And a lot of people, but it doesn't feel like high school either, so there's a little more of a range, which is good. We do have a set of liberal arts core classes that students take along with their major that never change. So no matter what major you're interested in or accepted into, you will be taking these foundational classes throughout the 4 years. And just because everyone has to take those, they're a little bit bigger in size, but we cap our classes, and Trevor, tell me if I'm wrong, but we cap our classes at roughly about 30, I would say, probably, okay, good, at the most. Classes in your major, and especially even as you get up even further into the higher level courses, even smaller. Lab sizes, for example, are only like maybe 10 to 12 students, that's about it. But the general in actual academic classes in their concentration is probably maybe about 15 to 20. That's really about it. And you are taught by strictly professors, no teaching assistants. So it's strictly professors all the time.
Thank you so much.
If we want to chat, I saw Emily was unmuted. I know she wanted to say anything. Okay.
I forgot what the other questions were the other things.
I think they wanted to know just a little bit about the teachers and their backgrounds, qualifications, how diverse is your staff, and the student-teacher ratio. So you did touch on some of that.
I can answer some more of it if you guys would like. Just so the students know, most of our teachers have their PhDs, which is something that's really awesome because they not only have continued their research, but they also continue it as they're teaching. A lot of our times our students, if you want to participate in undergraduate research, you can hop on with research that a professor is doing, or vice versa. You can ask a professor and they'll hop on and help you with research. Another thing too is we do have professors from all over the world. We have professors that come and teach us from various countries, and then also from different places throughout the United States. Even if they didn't live somewhere, we have professors with a ton of experience who are very weathered and who have dealt with a lot of different scenarios as well. So just to add that in there.
That's great to hear. Awesome. So let's talk fees. I did hear something about a deposit fee, and then is there an application fee as well?
Emily, want to go ahead?
Sure. So we actually have a free application. So if you went to our website, I always tell students just Google Niagara University application. We have a free application. A lot of our students also can get fee waivers if possible, but on the Common App, it's free as well. And for a deposit, so that a deposit means like you hold your spot for the incoming class. So technically, our deposit is about $300. If you are accepted into the NUOP program, it is only $25. So there's a wide range. Also for fees and room and board and everything, generally total with everything, and people get scared by this number, it's around $47,000. And I know that seems like a very big number. When you count in scholarships and the financial aid, we offer outside scholarships. It cuts everything in half. I've had students who, again, they get the first bill and it's $47,000 they see. And then really they only have to pay about, I've had students range anywhere from $3,000 a year, which is not bad for a private school. I really pride ourselves in, we never want finances to be the issue. And my whole team can vouch for that as well. So if you really set your heart on any school you possibly imagine, it can be done. And there's ways around it. And I tell students, I stress this all the time, get to know your guidance counselor. They know scholarships, they have so much help. And I tell students this all the time. So many kids are going to say, I'm not going to apply for scholarships because I'm not going to get it. Well, you and 500 other kids say that, and only 2 kids apply. And then your chances of getting a scholarship are high. So there are so many outside resources out there for everybody.
Great. And while I have you, Emily, I just want to touch on a couple of things. The NUOP program, so that's obviously a benefit of the program. And then the eligibility for the program. Can you just go over that again very quickly?
Yeah, sure. So again, I always tell students an average, right? So this isn't, you need to qualify both academically and financially. Financially is based on all the income that comes in, whether that's child support or some families have suffered an injury, so they get money in regards to that, disability. There's all those kinds of things. And then when it comes to numbers for grades wise, people always are concerned about that. It ranges anywhere from like an SAT score of like an 800 and like 800 to a 900, 800 and below. And an average GPA would be around probably a 70 to an 80. Okay. Now, again, I always say this is average. We take students that are above, we take students that are below, but that's generally roughly the average in the middle.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more specifically about the Say Yes scholarships. So you guys offer 3 of those scholarships, and then you talked about a lot more that students could be eligible for. So say I'm receiving a Say Yes scholarship and I'm completely eligible. And then I know I heard in the presentation there were other scholarships. So how do those work? Are they like running parallel with the Say Yes scholarship in addition to, do you take Say Yes first? Or how does that work?
I do believe, and I will double check to be honest, but I do believe that the Say Yes kind of takes precedent over everything because it is just such a great opportunity for that. But yeah, so it kind of would trump other things. So yes, that's pretty much the answer.
And then students could still apply for additional scholarships that you were talking about to alleviate any fees or any additional.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we actually, this might, is kind of a lot of information, but I'll toss it out there because some might be taking notes maybe, and plus it's recorded. So, but when students get accepted, there's also a portal that it's called the Scholarship Opportunity Search. And there are literally hundreds of scholarships there. Yes, it can be tedious, but it's worth it. They are only Niagara University scholarships. They are funded by either alumni, corporations, different things like that. So I highly recommend once you get information and you apply to Niagara and you can get into that, kind of just sift through those, see if you qualify for anything. It could be something as simple as writing an essay, it can be sometimes based on major, where you're from, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different kind of guidelines for each one. So I just would recommend kind of looking through all of them and seeing how that is. And some of them can certainly be stackable, where if you're getting one, you're able to get another. I'm not sure I can say that because I'm not directly from financial aid, but more often than not, they are stackable. So you can do that too. So yeah.
Wow.
We also do have scholarships within some of the different departments that can be stackable as well. For just a quick example, our theater department has some great scholarships that they give out, and those can be stackable with the student's merit scholarship that they receive, for example.
Great. And just to reiterate to the audience, you are on a rolling admissions, correct?
Yes.
Still taking applications.
Yes.
How is the summer program going to work for this summer? Or are you tabling it for next summer?
For new op specifically?
Yes, the summer bridge program you're talking about.
Okay, so right now we're playing it week by week. So I can't quote anything yet. We obviously, our hope would be for students to get on campus, obviously, because that's the best way to do it. We're trying to push it back. Even usually it's generally done in July. We're trying to make it more to August to see if that could help. If not, again, it's going to be sometimes. Then also they were thinking to maybe do a hybrid. So meaning some of it online, some of it in person, maybe shorten it. It all depends. We're fingers crossed. We're hoping everything could be in person. It just makes the experience so much better. But we're playing it day by day.
Okay, great. Trevor, can I grab you for a minute before you go? I want to hear what advice, what words of encouragement you would give to high school seniors looking to transition into any college in the fall this year.
So my biggest advice is probably to get yourself involved, get the information, really look into everything, look into all your options, and look at what the university is going to give to you. I mean, that was a big thing for me when I was looking around. I looked at a bunch of different colleges. I had no clue where I wanted to go. My mind was set on so many different places, but it's really taking the opportunity to go to campus, dig in, really look into things, see what your opportunities really are going to be. Because I think I've learned that through doing that, I found Niagara University, and that's where I found my new home, my new family with Niagara, was just from really taking that time to go and look at everything, look at all my options, and kind of really dig into everything. Because now that I'm here on campus, I follow that same mentality, and it's really helped me just to flourish as a student, flourish as a person, and just really prepare myself for a great future coming out of Niagara. And I just really recommend wherever you go, whatever you're thinking, definitely take those steps and take the time to look into everything.
Great. Thank you for that, Trevor. We appreciate you being with us today.
No problem.
So just lastly, I saw you had a couple of videos and one of them highlighted beautiful Niagara Falls. How far is Niagara Falls from your campus?
About 5 minutes. That's about it. Yeah.
7 minutes from the outlet mall. Very important.
There you go.
I want to talk about some amenities, that some things that students have to do off campus.
Those are important to know, right? So whether, again, Niagara Falls, sorry, Steph, I just cut you off, but I always
no,
like
you
to
did
tell
not.
students,
No, go ahead.
Walmart, Target, 5 minutes away, plenty of places to eat. The town of Lewiston, that's right down the hill, is such a quaint college town where students go to get coffee or out to eat, take a walk on the gorge. I mean, it's kind of a nice little oasis. We're our own little campus. We're not, there's no cross traffic. We're our own little community, but right outside, there's so much to do. And it's only, 40 minutes away, 35 minutes away. So.
Exactly. Great. Thank you, Niagara University, for being with us today. This session is recorded, so it will remain on our BPS Community Schools Facebook page for anyone that missed it, wants to go back. So we're hoping that you check their video out and see what their campus has to offer. Thank you for being a partner with Say Yes.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Take care.
And coming up next, we have the Say Yes Mentoring Department that will give us a presentation on what they have to offer students. So please stay tuned for that. We will be returning at 5 o'clock. See you soon.